Hello, good morning. Welcome to Joy News Desk. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlene. Coming up this morning, Attorney General accuses a special prosecutor of withholding information on investigations into the sources of money of former Water and Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah. She insists the OSP owes the Ghanaian public full disclosure.
If we look at the special prosecutor's work, the conclusions raised by the special prosecutor in both his press release as well as the letter to Yoko will show that the premises within which the special prosecutor actually invited Yoko to investigate money laundering was very limited.
But the Office of Special Prosecutor is fighting back, insisting it cannot be blamed for the inability of Yoko to do its job.
We had not entirely washed our hands off the case. So there were two representatives, one from Yoko and one from us. But I also like to put on record that at no point in time has Yoko requested for a copy of the FBI report.
Also, the Electoral Commission takes on Imani Ghana's vice president for allegedly peddling falsehood on obsolete BVDs and BVRs.
Refurbishment, which was meant for only 2018 and 2019, was even higher than acquiring a new kit. So what would be your decision? So with respect to the acquisition of the rest, I don't want to be wasting much time on it, because we did a lot of discussion on it in 2020 and with a lot of theory.
Answers, the facts, the details, to be convinced by performances. And what my good friend in the studio, well, he's not my friend, but not the good gentleman in the studio, has just done is a performance. Look carefully at the dates and things like that, because as I proceed, you begin to see unraveling before your eyes this elaborate subterfuge that they've used to convert.
And with barely 24 hours to begin the much-anticipated voter registration exercise, we will hear from prospective first-time voters in the first episode of Just Turned 18.
Now I have the opportunity to use my time to bring someone into power.
That will give me the chance to also voice out on the person to lead us.
People will now be seeing me, engaging me into political activities in my community.
Many thanks for choosing us. To stay for details. The Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfrey Adame is accusing the Office of the Special Prosecutor of withholding information on investigations it conducted into the source of money seized from the home of the former Water and Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah. The AG is also questioning why the OSP has not disclosed the outcome of its transborder investigation with the FBI into an allegation of money laundering involving Cecilia Dapaah. Last week, the AG directed the Economic and Organized Crime Organization, EOCO, to discontinue investigation, describing the OSP's directive as baseless. According to Mr. Dame, the OSP owes the public an explanation.
It is worthy to state that a careful look at the special prosecutor's work, the conclusions raised by the special prosecutor in both his press release as well as the letter to Yoko will show that the premises within which the special prosecutor actually invited Yoko to investigate money laundering was very limited. It was actually limited to transfers, alleged transfers of funds from the United States of America. And I refer you to the second paragraph of the OSP's letter. After 7 months of extensive investigations and 4 months of collaborating investigations, it seems to the OSP that the case is largely in the province of suspected money laundering and structuring. So clearly, the OSP indicates that it is specifically in relation to the sums that were alleged to have been transported into Ghana from the United States of America that should be the subject matter or the focus of money laundering investigations. the money laundering investigation clearly is linked to those transfers. And then early on, if we notice, the staff prosecutor himself had released a press statement to the public, specifically saying that, yes, they conducted investigations into the financial affairs and assets of former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Dapaah. Then it concluded very significantly in paragraph 2 of the press release that after nearly 7 months of extensive investigation by the OSP and a parallel inquiry by the FBI, no direct and immediate evidence of corruption has been found in the seized funds and frozen bank accounts linked to Ms. Dapaah and her associates. And then they proceeded to say the investigation has identified strong indications of suspected money laundering and structuring. And then, of course, they acknowledged their inability to investigate money laundering by virtue of the law that they were operating within. But they concluded significantly, laying basis again for the investigation into money laundering. It's concluded a portion of the inquiry was entrusted to the FBI due to allegations suggesting involvement of transfer of funds from the United States. So I think that this clearly settles the issue that insofar as the funds located in Madame Cecilia Dapaah's house were concerned, insofar as even lodgements into her accounts locally were concerned, and insofar as the sums that were seized by the OSP were concerned. There was clearly no direct or immediate evidence of corruption, and that is not me stating this. This is the special prosecutor himself, clearing Madame Cecilia Dapaah.
Well, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is fighting back, insisting it provided all relevant information to IOCO to aid in their investigation. Samuel Apiadako is the Director of Research, Strategy and Communication with the OSP.
When the OSP made a referral to IOCO, there were standing committees that were supposed to collaborate because we had not entirely washed our hands of the case. So there were two representatives, one from IOCO and one from us. But I also like to put on record that at no point in time has IOCO requested for a copy of the FBI report.
Really?
We need to be very accurate. At no point in time did IOCO request for a copy of the FBI report. But Samson, let me also go ahead to say that even if IOCO had requested for a copy of the FBI report, it was not just going to be that simple that FBI report would have just been given to IOCO. Remember, there are MOUs between OSP and the FBI. And they are also, I'm aware that there are also MOUs between IOCO and FBI. And this particular investigation was in respect of OSP.
Businesses continue to suffer the consequences of the intermittent power outages, even as President Akufo-Addo declared that Dumsor was over. In the latest episode of our Dumsor Diaries, we'll put a spotlight on a barbering shop as the grooming industry faces a grim future as the power outages continue to bite hard. Kenneth Jesse has more.
Over the period, the issues surrounding maintenance of transformers and gas supply have been successfully resolved, resulting in a sufficient improvement in power supply reliability. Indeed, over the past few days, we have witnessed stable electricity supply across the country, with no load shedding reported anywhere yesterday.
That was President Akufo-Addo during his May Day speech on the 1st of May. A day after the president's speech, the news team visited Achimota Mile 7, a community in the Greater Accra region where, like many parts of the country, Dumsor is rampant. When the team got there at 4:10 in the afternoon, their lights were off. We caught up with a barber who hadn't had light since he opened the shop in the morning of that day.
The doomsaw is very intense here. I have not been able to work since the week began because of doomsaw. The light went off a few minutes after I opened my shop at around 7 a.m. The light usually goes off in the morning and be restored around 6:30 in the evening. 15 minutes later, it will go off again. The other day, the light went off when I was in the middle of trimming a customer's hair. I believe you can bear witness to the fact that there is no light here as we speak.
While filming this story, a customer walked in to shave his beard, but to his disappointment, there was no light. So he, just like the many customers that visited Henry's shop today, either had to look elsewhere or come back later, hoping the lights will be back by then. Aside cutting hairs and shaving beards, the shop also renders manicure and pedicure services for customers. But due to the enormous heat exacerbated by doomsaw and the equipment needing power to function, that part of the business has been put on hold for now.
The pedicurist hasn't been to work for the past 3 days because there is nothing to do when she comes.
Henry Jache is a family man. He has a wife and a newborn baby. As the breadwinner of his young family, Henry tells me the financial difficulties he faces back at home due to the erratic power supply. Because his job relies solely on power to function, there are days he goes home empty-handed and is forced to rely on the benevolence of family and friends to provide for his wife and child.
It
hasn't been easy. Since the doomsaw intensified, I mostly go home empty-handed, with no money to provide for my wife and child. I usually call some close friends and relatives to send me some money. Sometimes they send me 50 cedis or less. That's what I use to feed my family.
Morganians have consistently called for a doomsaw timetable to plan ahead of time, but to no avail. Henry is one of them.
A doomsaw timetable would have helped a lot. The secretary here, for instance, spends money on transport fares every day to work and back when no activity goes on here. A doomsaw timetable would have saved all these costs.
From printing shop operators to con millers, people have been sharing the struggles they go through when the lights go off at unexpected times without knowing when it will be restored. As it stands now, no one knows when this issue will come to an end. For Joy News, Kenneth Jesse, Accra.
Meanwhile, Energy Minister Matthew Opoku-Prempeh has described what we're currently experiencing as doomsaw and not doomsaw.
I'm not sure I'm here to talk about doomsaw as you want to drag me into it. But I told you that when I got to the ministry, we've gone past the era where we had 72 to 96 days of lights out and 6 hours of light on. We are in the era of doomsaw, which is profoundly different from doomsaw. Doomsaw, as inflicted on Ghanaians, has only happened as characterized His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's governance. He is the only president on record that for 4 years that he reigned, for 4 years that he ruled, for 4 years that he governed, there was doom. If the non-partisan colleague says that now it's worse, then I don't know where his relatives lie. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, prices of petroleum products at the pumps have gone up and is likely to further increase. The prices of fuel have been on a free fall in the past weeks and further worsened with the reversal of the suspension of the price stabilization and recovery levy. The continuous fall of the cedi has been largely blamed for the upward adjustment, with industry players warning the situation could worsen if the cedi is not strengthened. I've been joined by Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Duncan Amoah. Grateful for your time, Duncan Amoah. Yes. Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Aisha.
Great. So as at Friday, prices of petroleum products had gone up in the first window. You say we may see a further increase still in this window. What could be accounting for this?
Well, Aisha, the very reason for which we are where we are continue to remain where they were. Sadly, the fast depreciating cedi is largely to blame for your fuel prices being at the level you find them. As of the last increment, which was Friday, the cedi was trading around 14.02. As we speak today, it's around 14.45. And so if that trend, and of course, just supposing this again with the fact that the cedi also seems to move in tandem with petrol prices, and now you have a liter crossing 14-15 cedis with some OMCs. There's every strong indication that the cedi could also simply inch up to around 14-15 Ghana. If that happens, Aisha, we will not be surprised that within this very window in May, the first window in May, we could see another fuel price adjustment simply because the cedi is having a poor run at this time.
Are you going to see a downward adjustment, or you say forward ever?
Well, Aisha, I do not want to be a doom sayer, but the truth is international benchmarks are going up. There's still pressure from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Refineries are getting targeted here and there. That could only mean that the supply side of the equation would simply be hampered. Once the supply volumes do not meet up to the demand numbers, you're simply going to have prices adjusting upward. Unfortunately, the local currency is also doing no better as of this time. If you put the two together, what you have staring all of us in the face is a further upward adjustment in fuel prices in the coming days, rather than.
Well, Duncan Amoah, I'm grateful for your time. I've also been joined by Professor Lord Mensah, who is an Associate Professor of Finance at the University of Ghana Business School. Prof, what is it with our currency? The Bank of Ghana assured us some time ago that there had been measures put in place to arrest the depreciation of the cedi. Now, we are rather at a faster depreciating rate. What are we not doing right?
Yeah, I think the cedi, if you look at the dynamics, clearly, it has to do with so many things that drive the cedi. I mean, so far, economically, we've not done much, to restructure our economy to ensure that we control the cedi. The reason why I'm saying this is that all the measures that, including what the Bank of Ghana governor mentioned, are things that will only control the currency, temporarily, not permanent. There's a temporal trajectory that the currency is moving, towards. That I think we made economic restructure, economic reforms. Look at the past. What using manage the cedi has been one, inflows from proposed indicators, two, zero bonds, proceeds as we go to issue bonds, and the little that we get another election. and then possibly remittance. But then, if you look at the dominant aspect, it's only the Eurobond and then a cocoa syndicated loan that we see. And these are some way of managing exchange rate. To manage exchange rate, your economy is huge. The economy is diversified to ensure you bring in the dollar. That one is sure. Or bringing dollars. So you will not be managing the exchange from IMF money that they are coming to give you, from expectations from the Eurobond expectation of post-catered. Remember, government is its cocoa bean supply, which is going to affect, the money we get before we even transfer the cocoa bean to the market. And then being banned the Eurobond. Again, that money that we expect is quite uncertain because we more or less rely some favor because conditions that they've given us time, so we don't see them. But one way or the other, they extend us because probably they have considered the comfort of allowing me to be grounded and then possibly coming to this, which is so high.
Go back.
Pumping in money now to make sure that we stabilize. So from where I sit, we cannot continue to manage, this exchange rate with expectations on foreign inflows in that manner. But we have to restructure the economy. We have to ensure that we produce locally to stabilize some of what we do.
Prof, is this the worst yet for the city, or things can get even worse as the years go by?
I think if you look at the past, I've been an economist and a mathematician as well. The past, every year, the city, penetrate a new discrete number. And this year, it's going to penetrate 2 discrete numbers. So we're at 13, we're getting towards 14. By the end of the year, if we continue in the same trajectory, we don't do anything drastic to change the situation, we may end up at 15. And the 15 that we went to the other time, somewhere last year, you saw a free fall of the city, and it got to 15 before, the finance minister announced, debt suspension, and then it came to hold it up there. That was the true level of the city. If we should allow the market, to determine the level of the price.
What will hold the rapid decline of the city?
Well, of course, you're expecting an IMF money, which is the last straw that you are holding on. If the signal on the market or indicate that we're not getting the board approval, obviously you should expect the market to react.
Right. I'm grateful for your time, Professor Lord Mensah. But if you're still there, so you talk about the IMF, the 360 million that has been released to the country, will it fix the situation, or the $150 million concessionary loan that the majority is chasing in Parliament, will it bring some stability to the city? Have we lost Prof? Right, so we lost Professor Lord Mensah there. He's been explaining how we can get the city back on track because if we're not careful, he says, we may go to 15 cities just soon. Let's get on to other stories. The Electoral Commission says it is fully cooperating with the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate the attempted bribery of the electoral officers by the Member of Parliament for Kwada, so Professor Kingsley Nyako, during last week's Ejiso parliamentary by-election. Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Sribo Kwako, told Joy News the Commission is committed to getting to the bottom of the case.
The time that incidentally, I was the one who, the journalist, followed to that center.
Right.
So according to him, it was just about 5 minutes after I have left that the incident took place. Now, at the time that he came to me, and I got the opportunity to watch the video. And if you look at the video at that time, you know that it was dropped onto the table. You did not see our officers picking it. So I said that we should not be in a hurry to judge, because at that time, when it was put on the table, did they pick it or they did not? If they picked it, what was the content? We didn't know all these things. So we said, okay, let's go and replace them. And you know, in the heat of election, anything that you do, it attracts attention. So let's replace them. Let's finish with the election, then we'll investigate the matter. It was later that we got to know that when our regional editor went, that they said that when it was dropped, they took it. And it said it was money for lunch.
And you told the public that also?
Exactly. So I don't know, at that time that I was speaking, and to be frank with you, if I look at the video, it's difficult for you at that time to know whether it was an envelope, whether it was an handkerchief. You couldn't just draw. So I said that it will be investigated. So we should not be in a hurry. Because sitting here, I would have been happier if they did not pick the envelope. Right? The hand was stretched. They didn't receive it. It was dropped. So if at that time they had not picked it, the man had gone for his own envelope, commission would have been exonerated. But it followed that later, they went and took it. So that's what it was. So at that time that I was making my statement, I said, don't preempt the investigation and let us know what has transpired. So now we know the story, and that was the election was held on Tuesday when they appeared at the office, and I went and met the OSP people there, interrogating our people. So it means that the interrogation is going on. So personally, I'm not happy with the way we are discussing issues and that. When you do that, people will begin to change their statement and other things. So at the end of the day, you may not get to the root of the issue. That's why we were thinking that we should have allowed the professional people to handle it instead of come out with our judgments and the rest.
Right.
So it is upon the strength of that.
Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has taken on Imani Ghana's Vice President Barry Simmons, saying that he has been peddling falsehood about the disposal of its supposed obsolete BVDs and BVRs. The Commission reveals experts and independent consultants advised to dispose of them. Barry Simmons had alleged that the EC's acquired new BVDs and BVRs was just a needless procurement gig, but Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Sribo Kwako, who provided documents to back the EC's decision, he spoke on Newsfile.
Samson, being in the shoes of the commission, what will you do? The refurbishment, which was meant for only 2018 and 2019, was even higher than acquiring a new kit. So what would be your decision? So with respect to the acquisition and the rest, I don't want to be wasting much time on it, because we did a lot of discussion on it in 2020 and with a lot of theories. To me personally, sitting here, I don't know what many people are seeking to achieve. I find it difficult. Now, with respect to, so you can see that a lot of savings were made for going for new equipment. Even the previous one, they had only one data center. And that one, they said the data itself was also had a challenge. Because initially we were thinking that, was it not possible that all those who are already on the system could be transferred onto our new data center? And they said that the quality of the data will not be sustainable by the new one. They said in transfer, we'll end up losing a lot of data. So in that case, let us acquire the new data. And for the refurbishment of the then data center was 50 million. Refurbishment was 50 million. The new one that was acquired was 6 million. 6 million. All the records are here. And I wish that you officially have not been authorized to give it to you. So you can write, so you can have enough time. And so when you come to the disposal of the equipment, the Director for Administration wrote that because, and let's not forget that those that were disposed of were the 2012 to 2014 equipment. not the 2020 that is being used now.
Okay.
So the director wrote that all these things, obsolete material, a lot of things, are occupying our stores. We don't have even the space. So why don't we dispose of all these things so that we can now have space to maintain our activities and the rest?
But in a swift rebuttal, Vice President of Imani Ghana, Bryce Simmons, said the EC is not being truthful to Ghanaians.
It's very easy if you're not paying a lot of attention to the nuances, the facts, the details, to be convinced by performances. And what my good friend in the studio, well, he's not my friend, but not the good gentleman in the studio, has just done is a performance. Look carefully at the dates and things like that, because as I proceed, you begin to see unraveling before your eyes this elaborate subterfuge that they've used to deceive Ghanaians for many years. Let's start with debunking a lot of the things he said right from the outset. This is the Civil Registration Center for Development. It's one of the world's leading think tanks that focuses on looking at elections in the world. And you were absolutely right when you pointed out to him that the cost of Ghana's elections have historically been very high. So if you think of, by 2016, for instance, the cost of elections in Ghana was about nearly 4 times the cost of elections in the UK. And that has been the case historically. What he does right now is absolutely and blatantly present falsehoods as facts by claiming, for instance, that the cost of elections in Ghana is $7.7. The cost of elections in 2020 was $7.7 per voter. The $7.7 that he uses, if you go and look at the records in the Ministry of Finance, the Parliament, etc., that are public records, you will see how much money we spent in total in 2020 as 1.363 billion cedis. You can compare what we spent years before when we had no elections, and you can then subtract, as they do, to establish how much exactly we spent because of the elections. So what I'm saying is that it's very simple. You take the years before we had elections, say 2019, 2018, etc. Then you get to 2020 when we have elections. You look at the difference in terms of the budget amount allocated to the EC. When you get that number, it's about almost 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. Then you divide it by the total number of registered voters for that election, and you strike an average, you get $12.5, not $7.7. This is the highest we've ever seen, and one of the highest in the world. So when they tell you it's $7.7, either you do the math yourself, as we've explained our methodology, or you take their word at face value. The problem in this country is that we don't have enough people, enough institutions, enough organizations that are willing to go through the fact-checking process and hold these institutions to account.
In less than 24 hours, the Electoral Commission will begin its limited voter registration exercise across the country. The Commission is projecting to roll in at least 850,000 prospective first-time voters onto its register. Ahead of this crucial exercise, some of these young citizens in Jamestown have been expressing excitement about participating in shaping the future of their country. They've been speaking on Joy Prime's Just Turned 18 show, which delves into the hearts and minds of first-time voters. Emmanuel Juveno has more.
For these young Ghanaians in Jamestown, reaching the voting age means more than just a milestone. It is their ticket to participate in shaping the future of their country.
Oh, I'm very excited actually, because I get to also have the opportunity to vote and select the leader.
Now I have the opportunity to use my time to bring someone into power.
That will give me the chance to also voice out on the person to lead us.
People will now be seeing me, engaging me into political activities in my community.
These prospective first-time voters are not only excited about registering, but they are also motivated by stories from family and friends who have already participated in elections.
You have to go there early. People usually use chairs, stones to queue. So like when you go and meet those stones and chairs there, they will be expecting you to stand behind those chairs and stuff. So when they come and they see you have bypassed the stones, they will actually fight you.
While the majority of first-time voters eagerly embrace the opportunity to participate in Ghana's democratic process, There are a few who remain hesitant or even adamant about registering. Nevertheless, their collective influence cannot be understated.
As I was growing up, I learned that the voters are easy to go to the bank and do things. But praise be to God, in Anadu, they have brought Ghana card. I have my Ghana card. I'm a citizen of this country. So that one, case closed. I'm not registering.
Per Electoral Commission's data, more than 851,000 first-time voters have been added to the register and is subject to increase following the upcoming limited voter registrations. Consider the margin of victory in the 2020 presidential election, which stood at 517,405 votes. The significance of the first-time voter bloc becomes abundantly clear. By comparative analysis, it becomes evident that this demographic holds the potential to determine the outcome of the 2024 presidential election.
Recently at Anya Polyclinic, someone died because there was no bed until I see a change in the health sector, education, and then employment. I think I can change my mind to vote.
Free education has come to serve its purpose. Even if I haven't done anything at all, at least for financial aspects, has reduced the burden.
With their hopes high and their eyes set on the future, they are ready to take their first step towards civic engagement that will shape the destiny of their nation. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy Prime.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the NPA, Linda Santi, says about 18,000 people die yearly in Ghana from excessive smoke from cooking using firewood and charcoal. She said the smoke continues to pollute the air whilst trees which could have filtered the air being cut down. The Deputy EO made the remarks at a sensational forum on the cylinder recirculation model in Tamale.
National Petroleum Authority brought together a cross-section of residents of Tamale to discuss the cylinders recirculation model, educate them on the use of liquefied petroleum gas LPG, and also promote LPG use as an alternative fuel use. The residents asked questions ranging from the price to its safety. Speaking at the forum, the Deputy CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Linda Santi, said smoke from firewood and charcoal continue to harm its users.
In the most part of Africa, cooking has been placed in the lives of our mothers and sisters. However, in Ghana, in most part of Africa, cooking has placed the lives of our mothers and sisters in danger because of the smoke they inhale whilst cooking. This is because we cook with firewood and charcoal in most of our communities. I stand to be corrected, but I know majority of us cook with firewood and charcoal. The smoke from cooking with firewood and charcoal causes heart diseases. I want us to pay attention to the effect of the smoke on our health. It causes heart diseases. We know the high blood pressure, hypertension, and all its related issues. It also causes lung cancer. Mostly in women because they are the ones who do the cooking in our homes. The smoke also makes us weak, and when you use over a long period, affects your eyes. A recent study shows that about 18,000 people in Ghana die yearly from the use of unclean fuels.
She said the NPA and its allies are working to reduce the taxes on LPG to make it more affordable.
The Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Finance are having discussion to make sure that we reduce the taxes on LPG. In addition to that, even before the reduction of the taxes, NPA has gone ahead to have a tender which has reduced the supplier's premium of LPGs that are imported into the country.
Personnel of the fire service were present to educate the people on the safety regulations of LPG.
Side by side. So this is how the demonstration goes. After pulling the pin, I've opened my eye. You aim at the pin. So you quickly get your extinguisher.
Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana, Gabriel Komi, is worried the consumption of LPG in Ghana is on a downward spiral and is already having a toll on employment in the sector. He's attributing the decline in consumption to the skyrocketing prices, which is as a result of the imposition of more taxes on the product. Gabriel Komi says this situation is not only putting a strain on the budgets of the ordinary consumer, but also pushing many LPG marketing companies to the brink of collapse.
Currently, the major issue, challenge facing the LPG downstream is the fact that consumption of LPG has taken a nosedive. We peaked in 2020, 2021. After that, indeed, in 2022, we went down by over 12%, and we further went down in 2023. So the LPG consumption in Ghana is on a serious decline, and it's as a result of the fact that the price of the product has risen so high that the ordinary consumer is no longer able to afford. The height of the price, I mean the pump price going high is also as a result of the fact that a lot of taxes has been heaped onto the product. This is really putting the LPG industry in danger. Most of the LPG marketing companies and the LPG retail outlets are on the verge of collapse. If you go to the northern part of our country, most of the LPG outlets that used to be very vibrant are now collapsing. Some of them have indeed collapsed, and these are all as a result of the fact that they are not getting patronage. People are not buying the product. People are switching to firewood and to charcoal. I'm sure you can experience the heat, unprecedented heat that you are experiencing in the country at the moment. This is as a result of the fact that we have cut all the wood. Galamsey has taken half of the forest. The other half that we should save is being depleted because Ghanaians are not able to buy LPG, and they are turning to firewood and charcoal. Currently, most of our members have started laying off workers. They are calling on government to consider removing all taxes on LPG, and indeed,
the Greater Accra Regional leadership of the pre-tertiary teacher unions is this morning raising concerns over their conditions of service. The unions, which include the National Association of Graduate Teachers, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, CCT Ghana, have in the past few weeks complained about non-payment of allowances and most recently the delay in payment of Tier 2 of their deduction. The group is currently holding a press conference on their concerns, and we can cross over now to the NAT Regional Secretariat in Nongwa, where my colleague James Aveji is standing by with more. James, what can you report from the press conference? What ultimatum are the teachers giving this time round?
I think so. The press conference has just ended, and the teachers are giving government some 1 week to this challenge they have.
Thank you. So the press conference has just ended, and the teachers are giving government some 1 week to fix these challenges. They have re-enumerated some calls, including the payment of allowances. 4 key allowances they have been talking about. One is the deprived area allowances. That is to teachers who have been teaching in villages and very deprived communities across the country. The other is the extra assessment allowance, and including the book data online support allowance as well. And the fourth one, which they call the upward adjustment of their continuous professional development allowances. Those are the 4 key allowances they have outlined this morning, that for some period now, they have been engaging government to see to the payment of this allowance. Some are actually upward adjustment. They've been calling for some of these allowances, but for the past few months, the call intensified. If you remember, the last time we heard about these allowances was when the three teacher unions, the national leadership, took to the National Labour Commission's premises to demonstrate over these allowances, giving government some ultimatum. That was, later the ultimatum was forwarded to 2nd May, which is May Day, after May Day, for government to fix that. But as we speak, they say that government has not been able to answer their calls, and so they are giving some ultimatum. The leadership is here with me to help us understand this a bit more. Mr. Boating actually is the regional secretary of NAT in the Greater Accra region. In your presser, you indicated that some negotiations have started earlier. Looking at these 4 allowances you talk about, which ones are you already paid? Which ones are new, and which one are you seeking increment for?
Thank you very much. For the 4 that we have listed, none of them has been given any positive attention, and that forces us to do what we are doing today. In fact, we are doing this in solidarity with our brothers in Volta region, our national leadership, because the pace that we are looking at, it has to do with, we go today, then we have to reschedule it, and then go the next day, because we were given 2nd of May. Today is not 2nd. That means we've gone beyond 2nd. The next time has been given somewhere June. So if we look at what is happening, then it's going to be the usual mantra that we are in engagement, we are in engagement. And I think this is the time. We cannot continue to be having it changed from, none of them has been given any positive attention. And that is why we are doing this in support of what national leadership is doing, so that when it gets there, we will all go and then support them, for us to tell government what we really want to tell them.
Do you get the indication that the negotiation is not happening at all, or the pace at which it is happening is what you are not happy with?
In fact, it would be unfair to say that the negotiation is not happening. No, that would be bad faith. It is happening, but the pace at which it is happening, it takes some sort of diligence to be able to detect that it's a deliberate ploy to delay the process. Because if you go and then we have to reschedule it on a flimsy excuse that we have this, we don't have that. We have detected all those things. We are not new in the system. And so we see it as a deliberate attempt to delay the process. Because when we delay the process, we know what we have before government this year. We must not wait for any soothsayer to tell us what will be the fate if we go beyond May. So we are doing this to let them know that, yes, when we come and they tell us, we go back. But that is causing some degree of disaffection among our membership. Because we tell the members what we are seeking, and then we go back to tell them the same story. We cannot continue to do it.
Finally, what is the ultimatum to government? And is this ultimatum in collaboration with your national leadership? And beyond that, what will you do?
Yeah, let me clarify it. The ultimatum here is being given to our leadership, the national leadership, that anything they come to tell us after 13th of May, this particular month, we are not going to welcome it. And so they will also have to sit up and do what is needed, because the members on the grounds, if I tell you the burning spirit in them, it will not be like the picketings that we have been making. And people think that it's only when we resort to strike. No, we are not going to tell the world. That is why we summed it up as saying we will appeal to the heavens. And when that appeal comes...
And that's James Aveji with some of the teachers who say that they're giving governments an ultimatum to fulfill their demands, or they will go on strike. Let's take a break. On Joy News Desk, we'll be back with business.
Good morning, everyone. This is the business segment on Joy News Desk with me, Pius Kojobaka. Icon Energy, a growing player in Ghana's fuel market, has officially unveiled its brand after more than a year of operation. With stations now spanning 8 regions, the company aims to transform the fuel industry with its innovative approach and commitment to quality service, building a customer-centric brand. More in this report.
Icon Energy, the Flash of Earth brand after over a year of strategic operation. The company is poised to shake up the industry landscape, leveraging a blend of cutting-edge technology and a customer-centric ethos. Icon Energy aims to redefine the refueling experience for Ghanaian motorists. Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Revesinopon, confirms that Icon Energy meets all AOMC standards, expressing optimism that the brand will deliver value for consumers.
For any oil marketing company is accepted to be a member of that AOMC, we do that certification. We make sure that they have all the required regulatory measures set in place, and that most of them will be safety, very, very important, because look, you see a lot of cars here. You don't want any fire burn out here. And one other issue that we will also raise when it comes to certifying them is the fact that they meet all the standards in terms of the fuel they're supplying. Today we are running a crazy market. So crazy market means we are pricing what we call the price determinant, I would say, market. So people watch your price and see how adequately affordable you are. So this a deregulated market. That means that is a price that actually drives the market. We won't assume that every oil marketing company or every filling station is selling the quality that has been apprehended by NPA.
Theodore Agbevede is the Chief Operations Officer for Icon Energies. He asserts that the brand's consumer-centric approach solidifies its permanence in the market.
Icon Energy is a relatively new brand. We started operations in the mid of 2022, and in the last couple of years since we started, it's been an amazing journey so far.
That's it for business.
And as I wrap up the blessing this morning, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjournline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.